Hi guys, what is going on and welcome to today's YouTube video. I am back from Greece, I'm back from my holiday, and just take a look at this because Bitcoin is exactly following our plan that I've been mapping out for weeks, if not over a month. I was telling you guys, Bitcoin is forming a falling wedge near key support. That key support being the mid-range over here. Some people said it was the range high. Like I was saying, this is the mid-range. The range high is over here, and that is our next liquidity objective. I was telling you guys, as long as it is above the mid-range, it is bullish. When we tapped the mid-range twice over here, and we saw a little bit of a bounce. So if I'm going to zoom in a little bit on a 4-hourly time frame, and we got a perfect bounce from the mid-range 2 times in a row, I was telling you guys, this looks a little too easy for Bitcoin to start bouncing from here. People are putting their stops below the mid-range. I'm expecting a deviation below the mid-range, which is something that we also got. So another perfect projection playing out for the Bitcoin price. Now, like I was saying, fifth wave is in play, and I do expect this fifth wave to reach this target over here. That is where the liquidity is. And those that have been following my videos lately know what I'm expecting after tapping the liquidity over here. Patience is in play, but until we reach this target, I am bullish on Bitcoin and I'm also bullish on altcoins. That's Bitcoin on the higher time frame. Now Bitcoin on the lower time frame, we can go on the 1-hourly time frame, is now ranging a little bit, okay? So we've seen a nice little sweep of the high over here. And after the sweep of the high, we started consolidating a little bit more. But this does not look like a strong rejection. This does not look like the bears are taking control. Why? Because we cannot put in a break of structure over here. And as long as we do not put in a break of structure over here with momentum, I don't see any reason why Bitcoin should correct a lot deeper. I think Bitcoin could just be consolidating before the next leg upwards. Yes, we do have some liquidity below these equal lows over here, and we put in another low over here, so it's actually a triple low. We also have some more liquidity below the sell side liquidity over here, okay? So something that we could be expecting over the next couple of days is just some more chop over here, right? So maybe we chop around, we take out this liquidity, and we know that we have an important resistance area over here. So maybe we tap into that supply, get people a little bit bullish again, and then drop down a little bit, keep chopping around, then we sweep the liquidity. After the sweep of the liquidity, we will tap into this little hiccup over here. If we hold that hiccup, I'm expecting continuation towards the upside. This does seem like a scenario that I'm considering for this week, okay? A little bit of more chop, a little bit of more sweeps before the actual move. Now on the 4-hourly time frame, we can see if we have any confluence. We can also see that over here it was our supply area, okay? So we had our 4-hour supply area over here, found resistance over here. So if I go back on a 1-hourly time frame, we found resistance over here, and it should now be holding as support. So it's not only strong resistance over here before the impulse, which is already strong support. No, it's also our previous supply that failed to hold as resistance over here. So that supply should now turn into demand, or as we say, it should turn into a breaker block. So what I'm expecting for Bitcoin, just a little bit more chop, and within this chop there will be trade opportunity. For example, if we sweep this high and we still have this draw on liquidity to the downside, so as long as these lows are here, you could be looking for a short position over here towards those lows. Tap those lows, tap that breaker block, and you can start looking for long positions again, targeting that higher time frame buy side liquidity. That higher time frame buy side liquidity is resting above these two highs. Maybe you should not want to be greedy and just take your profit above this high, but this high seems very, very likely to be taken. And those that have been watching my videos of the last couple of weeks know why this is such a big draw on liquidity. I'm not going to explain it now because I want to discuss a potential trade idea on Ethereum in a little bit. But if you do want to find out why I am targeting this liquidity for weeks, if not months, you should check out my previous YouTube videos. Now we've discussed Bitcoin. So this is simply what I'm expecting for Bitcoin. Not too hard, not too complicated, just very simple. But Ethereum looks much, much cleaner. Because what we are seeing on Ethereum right now, yes, we saw a decent impulse, not as strong as Bitcoin yet. But what we also see is that Ethereum is starting a consolidation area. Now we have to wonder, is this distribution that we're looking at, or is this reaccumulation that we are looking at before the next impulse? Distribution would mean bearish, reaccumulation would mean bullish. Now, personally, I'm thinking that we are looking at reaccumulation. I will explain to you guys why. If we go on this chart and we take a look at the 4-hourly time frame, and we identify the liquidity, we can see that the liquidity was resting above this high, but especially above these highs over here, right? And then most amount of liquidity was resting above this high, because that is also where we have the unfilled imbalance over here. If we would be distributing, it should be within that liquidity pool over here. Why? Because market makers need that liquidity in order to fill their own shorts, in order to fill their own sell orders. They need a lot of liquidity. If we see this accumulation, not this accumulation, but this ranging without a liquidity pool, I'm thinking this is more a little bit of reaccumulation, resetting the RSI before the next impulse towards the upside. And I do expect Ethereum to take charge over Bitcoin for the upcoming week. I think the time has come for Ethereum to start shining compared to Bitcoin. But this is the reason why I'm thinking this is reaccumulation and not distribution. If this ranging would have been occurring within this liquidity pool over here, I would have been very, very careful. But now I'm actually feeling a little bit bullish on Ethereum for the upcoming week. So what do I expect? Well, if we are looking at reaccumulation and we see this range taking place over here, we also know that below the range low over here, we have a huge liquidity pool. So the ideal scenario for market makers would be to have our accumulation over here, our manipulation over here, before the distribution part towards our liquidity target. And we have a very clear liquidity target. The liquidity target are these highs over here. Okay, still this untapped supply above these highs, a little bit of an untapped imbalance as well. So we have a clear liquidity target, but to me, it would make sense to get some manipulation over here into strong support, which I will explain in a little bit, before the distribution. And that would create a beautiful AMD pattern. Okay, PO3, AMD, whatever you want to call it. But there's a reasoning behind this pattern. It is because we have this liquidity here, and that should be the ultimate opportunity for market makers to start filling their orders before that final expansion part, distribution part towards the upside. Do you guys understand? Now, why is this such strong support? On the 4-hourly time frame, we can see that we had a critical level over here with this hour 4 level of resistance. And if we zoom in, we can see that it acted as resistance once and twice. So it's not only an hour 4 level, but it also acted as resistance twice in a row. So that should now be turning into strong support. And that level is perfectly aligning with that liquidity pool over here. Also, if we go onto the daily time frame, I think we can do it on the 4-hourly time frame. Also, we can see that over here, right, is where we have our previous supply area. And that previous supply area should now be turning into support. Why? Because the supply area did not push the Ethereum price down. No, the Ethereum price broke out, and it did not only break out, it also left behind a bullish hour 4 fair value gap while breaking through that supply area. So what does that mean? Previous supply turns into demand, it turns into a breaker block. And a breaker block in confluence with this hour 4 fair value gap, in confluence with the previous resistance area over here, should be holding on for the Ethereum price as support before the next impulse upwards. On the 1-hourly time frame, we can also see that over here we found resistance a little bit, and also that is pretty nice confluence. On the 15-minute time frame, we can see definitely some hiccups over here before that expansion. So this is definitely a nice little area to start looking for long positions on Ethereum. If we do get a dip below the range low, if we do get the manipulation area over here, this should be the area not to turn bearish, because retail will turn bearish and will start shorting the breakdown of the range, which will only provide more liquidity for the market makes to push the price up. This over here should be the area to start looking for long positions on Ethereum.